Hello, everybody. Welcome to a Pondercast episode. For the past 40-some episodes, I've been talking to teachers about fun and engaging technologies that you can use in your classroom tomorrow. And it's all about the students. And now I'm starting a Riley High School Spotlight series with former students who are doing great things all across the country. In this episode, I've got a young lady who not only was in my class many years ago, but also I got to work with in the city of South Bend and at the University of Notre Dame. So, I hope you enjoy, and please like this episode and give a review. So hello everybody, this is another Riley Spotlight with another great and awesome and inspiring young lady, and you'll get to meet her real quick. So this is Dianne Waweru.
Yep.
I've always loved that last name.
It's a great one.
And so Dianne, when did you graduate Riley, and what are you up to these days?
Yeah, so I graduated from Riley in 2016, so essentially 3-4 years ago. I'm now a senior at Columbia University studying Earth and Environmental Engineering. It's been a good time.
So you were part of the engineering magnet,
Mm-hmm.
and your younger sister was also part of the engineering magnet, and where's she at now?
So my younger sister is at Northwestern. She's a sophomore, studying neuroscience right now. So she's also out there doing her own thing, having a good time.
And Gina's doing that. And then your older brother graduated before I was here at Riley.
Yeah, 2012.
And so what's his name, and where did he go to school, and what's he doing now?
Right, so my brother actually graduated in 2014. His name's Matthew Waweru. He graduated from Purdue University. He studied PR, but he did the tech magnet and was able to use like some of the cool like Photoshop stuff he learned to like make posters for his improv group that he was in actually. So even though he didn't necessarily like do techie type things, like he still learned some cool stuff and was able to apply it to what he did in college. But now he's working for the Horizon League, which is a sports conference in the Midwest.
I remember he did a video at Purdue with some basketball players.
Mm-hmm.
That was great.
Yeah, he worked for the athletic department. He was an intern there for I think his last 2 or 3 years. So yeah, he's all about the sports.
What were some of the sports and clubs you did while you were at Riley?
Yeah, so I did quite a few things. I was a distance runner, so I ran cross country and track. And then nestled between the sports seasons, I was on the Science Olympiad team, which all 4 years, which was an absolutely great time. And the Quiz Bowl team, and then also like marching band, concert band, all that fun stuff. Played the clarinet.
Another well-rounded Riley's team. All of these, you guys just do everything. Athletics, extracurricular, just everything.
I mean, there's so much cool stuff going on. You gotta try and, take a piece of it while you can.
Right. And then after high school, everything's so expensive. So you might as well do it in high school.
Facts. True. Yes. Absolutely.
What were your favorite classes while you were at Riley?
Oh, my favorite classes at Riley. The first one that jumps to my mind is not an engineering class, but it was AP Environmental Science. I absolutely love that class. I actually took it instead of it, like conflicted with senior design, which is such a bummer, but I was able to take a class to B, which is awesome. So AP Environmental Science was a big favorite of mine. I took biotechnical engineering when I was, I think, junior year. And that class was also super interesting. We did a lot of interesting case studies. We built like a hydroponic system. We made root beer, like a lot of cool, like techie fun things. Oh yeah, and of course chemistry. Miss Morgan was a great professor. So I really liked a lot of the chemistry classes that I took for both.
No, you don't have to answer. Like the correct answers aren't just engineering classes.
Engineering was fun, but
yeah, we've got great classes here that aren't just engineering. We've got awesome science teachers and math teachers, and so there's all kinds of good stuff here.
Yeah.
I just happen to be one of the engineering teachers, and you're not going to hurt my feelings. Don't worry.
Okay.
What do you think some strengths of Riley High School are?
Ooh, some strengths. I think a first one that we kind of just touched on is the number of things that you can get involved in. Like, if you're interested in something, there's a way to enact it at Riley. Like, if you like music, you can do that. There's so many different sports, so many niche clubs. Like, there's a way to find what you want to do outside of the classroom. Also, again, the teachers, I feel like I was so well supported at Riley. Like, that's such a big strength. Like, I would like being able to work with some of the teachers at Riley, even outside after I graduated, doing stuff with Bowman Creek. A lot of great things about Riley that I really enjoyed.
Yeah, I really take pride in like the family atmosphere. Like we get to know you guys, and then, like, I mean, many of the teachers send their own kids to school here, and so we're all just helping each other and looking out after each other. You kind of mentioned your major right now, which is environmental engineering, right?
Yep.
Okay, and so what are you doing now, and what do you want to do?
Right. So right now, I'm doing taking a lot of classes related to like water resource management, and a couple of like civil engineering classes because environmental and civil are so tightly bound. What I want to do though, which is actually strongly inspired by my time working at Bowman Creek, is it's probably urban planning, to be honest. Find a way to mash the systems, like infrastructure systems, with the social systems that are impacted by that infrastructure. So urban planning, I think, is the next step, as much as I've loved engineering and taking those classes.
Yeah, you've mentioned Bowman Creek, and I always talk about Bowman Creek so much. Sometimes my students get sick of me talking about it, but it's just so cool to...
It is.
Like have the theory base that you guys are so good at, and then like just getting your hands dirty and going and having the lab space, but really like the backyard that we have that's the city of South Bend.
Right.
So Bowman Creek is like sponsored with the city of South Bend and Notre Dame, and you've done it, and we've had a whole bunch of other students do it. What were some of the projects that you interned with in those summers?
Right. So my first summer, I was on the rain garden team, a stormwater management team, I think it was called. And my team and I were essentially looking at these rain gardens, which are, tools for better improving how water infiltrates into the ground and general stormwater management. And we were implementing like sensor systems so that you can measure how much of that water is actually being infiltrated, which was pretty cool. And then my following summer, so 2 summers ago, I was working on the native tree nursery project, which I saw the trees were actually implemented like last spring. Every time I go home, I like peek down the street when I'm driving on that side of town to see like how things are growing. It's super exciting. So that project was trying to find a vacant lot in South Bend that would best host a second native tree nursery.
And that project went so well 2 summers ago that you and like 3 others did, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so now last summer they planted like, I think 200 trees.
Oh my goodness.
Like 5 lots, or they did a whole bunch on the west side of South Bend because of your project, and like just kept that momentum going. It was, I know Mr. Brubaker spent like a whole Saturday morning just planting trees with a whole bunch.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's such a cool project.
What do you think your favorite project at Riley was?
My favorite project at Riley definitely came at like the very end of my Riley career. It was being a part of like the rocketry team. I think that was like the most unexpected, like fun. Oh wait, it still has the newspaper.
Oh my god,
incredible!
That article.
Yes, that was a great time. So me and like I think 4 or 5 other people. I don't remember the exact number.
Graph still right here.
Oh, amazing! Sign it too.
Everybody, this is going to be worth something.
I mean, hopefully. Yeah, so that project came out of in physics, we kind of learned how to build model rockets, rocket physics. And then a group of us, as you know, ended up being able to like compete in nationals through TARC, Team America Rocketry Competition. And that was like, funny enough, I actually ended up like continuing on some of the rocketry stuff here in college. Learning how to like build model rockets. I joined our school's rocketry team, and we going from building rockets that are like 4 feet long to 10 feet long that go 10,000 feet in the air was definitely like one of the coolest, like unexpected things I was able to participate in Riley, and then even transfer over here at college. It's been, super cool.
So the Riley one that you did, you guys traveled to the nationals.
Yep.
Where was that?
So that was in Virginia. Yeah, the flight site was in Virginia, and when we were there, we actually got to go and tour NASA Goddard, which was like super cool. We saw the James Webb Telescope. Like, it was so cool. Yeah.
That's so awesome. And then when you joined the Columbia team, your school, then where have you traveled to shoot rockets off there?
So there we shoot rockets. Of course, we're in Manhattan. You can't really shoot rockets in Manhattan. So the competition, this one is the International Rocket Engineering Competition, IREC, and that takes place in New Mexico. So that one's, yeah, all over the country getting to do cool rockets though. Yeah.
But like, do you guys get to practice anywhere?
Yeah, we practice upstate a little bit because again, Manhattan can't fire like huge rockets in the middle of the city. There's a problem. But yeah, so we practice upstate a little bit. But
I mean, you guys are really smart. You wouldn't shoot off rockets in Manhattan.
Yeah.
And also, I hope that you guys, and I'm glad you guys have time to like practice before you travel all the way to
absolutely. Mexico. Yeah, I mean, these rockets are like a little bit more sophisticated than the ones that we were building in high school. But yeah, there's a lot of like fine tuning, a lot more like technical analysis of like the flow of the fuel through the engine and all that kind of stuff. It's a really cool project.
That's awesome. And are you still doing that?
Not so much anymore. I've kind of switched gears in the last 2 years to work not on the bigger part of the rocket, but just on like the payload, the scientific experiment that goes in it. So last year we were doing a project looking at how yeast grows, like how yeast growth is affected by going through like the stressors of flight. And then this year the project that, again, senior year, so I'm less involved in it. The payload project is looking at chick embryos and putting those in the rocket to see the stresses that are put on like the nerves, and that translates into an understanding of how astronaut eye nerves are affected in flight. Yeah. It's super cool. Like, even if you don't know the technical stuff as well as I'm not a mechanical engineering, there's still cool ways to like kind of get involved in stuff through what I'm interested in. Yeah.
Holy cow, that's so great. Was that also your proudest activity that you did, or did you have any other projects that made you proud or you liked?
Like at Riley or?
Yeah, or at school.
That was definitely a super fun project. I think another project that I did that's more like field related that I was super proud of is this summer I was working at Brooklyn College doing a project again about green infrastructure, but this is looking at biosoils and the tools that we use to like assess how well they like infiltrate water. And that was like a really independent project, and I feel like I was able to take it on based on like the work experience that I had from Bowman Creek. It was definitely my advisors like let me take the wheels on that one. So I'm glad that like it ended up working out. Having to slug stuff like to the field site via subway is not the move. Like there's definitely a distinct difference between being working on field projects in South Bend versus here, but it was still super fun. Yeah.
And you brought up Science Olympiad, and
yes.
So you guys, I think, went down to state all your 4 years.
All 4 years, yeah. It was a good. Yeah, man, you're really bringing back some good memories. Yeah, so
you did some good things.
I know. I mean, there's a lot you can do. Yeah, so we went to state all 4 years. There's this like tradition after at the end of the weekend where we all go out to pizza and the seniors all like give a speech about like what Science Olympiad and Riley have like meant to them. It's like a very like bittersweet moment because like you spend the whole winter like working and studying for these like tests and preparing for these competitions, because it's like the beautiful thing I think about Science Olympiad is like you get to just learn about something that you think is interesting, like even outside the classroom, and like I don't know, it's kind of excellent for people who just love to learn for the sake of learning. Like it really like champions that, which I think is super cool.
That's a great way to put it. I love that. And you also have awesome coaches like Mrs. Leonard.
Right. You're gonna hang out with like super awesome teachers after school. Like that's also a huge part of it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And like-minded students that just love to learn. I love that.
Exactly.
Okay. So if you could design a high school class, what would it be? What would it be called? What would you do?
Oh, man, that is a good question. So I think it would be some sort of environmental e-class. But I think it would be interesting. I don't really have the opportunity to do something like this here in college, and maybe it's kind of what senior design at Riley is. But essentially what you would do is each student would have to come up with some sort of challenge that they think would be interesting to address in the city, or even like not even just in the city, like globally. And then they would have to like interview people who they think would like be able to provide input for that. They would have to maybe go and make field observations, like some sort of class that would allow kids to like step outside of like just textbooks, just Googling things, I think that would be a lot of fun. I found some of my introductory classes, first couple years of undergrad, were a lot of like books, which are great and important, but like I think especially in high school, it broadens your mind of like, oh, there's so much more out there in the world than just like, I'm learning this equation, so what kind of thing.
Right. Yeah. Let's apply the equation. Let's have more fun. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. Have more fun with the things we learned.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was a concise answer, but.
Okay. So let's say you make a time machine and you go back to your 14-year-old self.
Gross.
What
would
you tell 14-year-old Dianne?
Oh man.
Going into her freshman year of high school.
Yeah. Wow. What did I need to know when I was 14 that I know as a very seasoned 22-year-old now? Wise beyond my years.
Right.
To like chill out. Like I loved all the stuff I was involved in, but like I could have like had a little more fun, I think. Like I was it's like provided me with great opportunities to like learn a lot of cool stuff, but like she should probably have chilled out a little bit more. Like don't take yourself so seriously. Just chill out a little bit.
You brought up doing sports, right?
Yes.
You ran cross country and you ran track. What distance did you like running most?
What distance? I loved cross country a lot more than track. Even though the race for cross country is longer than all the track races. Like, I don't know, I think there's just something about like the cross country community that like I loved. And I feel like there's so much that I learned about myself and like about how I approach like commitment to things that I wouldn't have had if I hadn't like ran. Like I wasn't great, certainly. Like I just was there mostly for like, the exercise of it, and I enjoyed the competition, but I feel like I learned so much about myself because I ran cross country.
We've got great coaches and a great, like, Riley's tradition, I think, is cross country, swimming, band, and basketball. Like,
yeah.
That's what Riley's tradition is. And like, engineering hasn't been around long enough. And so, like, those things, Riley has just always been good at those things. And it's great. So.
But I definitely, cross is definitely, like, one of the highlights of, like, greatest things I did in high school. Among them, I loved it.
Yeah, you're running different distances in Manhattan than you did on the
exactly
South Bend, Indiana.
Yeah.
So, do you ever get out and run?
No.
You don't have time.
Something I've left in my past. No, not so much. I definitely miss it, and it's so easy to just put on some shoes and go. But no, I don't really run so much anymore.
Well, how warm is it in Manhattan right now?
Oh, it's like 23. So
yeah,
definitely not doing that today.
Yeah, hopefully Coach Wetzel doesn't hear us talking about not running in 23.
Keep us on the down low.
Because I'm sure they're practicing right now.
Oh, of course.
Just kind of in wrapping up, what is your definition of success?
I think personally, and this is something that like through college and I've definitely like reevaluated. I think I would have given you a different answer after high school, but now I think success is, for me personally, being able to do something that makes someone's day like just a little bit easier. Like whether that means like their commute to work is easier, whether that means they have access to like better food or something, like just being able to do something that just like makes someone's day a little bit easier. Even if they don't know like how's the one, like I feel like that's even better. Like something like that. Yeah. I think that means you've been successful. Yeah.
Gosh, you are just so awesome. And it's just so community driven. Like and I had the opportunity to teach with you and work with you at Bowman Creek.
Yeah.
Have you had any other jobs besides Bowman Creek or any internships besides that?
Yeah. So like I mentioned a little bit before, this past summer, I was doing an internship with this organization called the Urban Water Innovation Network, which is essentially this like collection of research scientists who do like different projects related to urban water sustainability. So yeah, I was based out of Brooklyn College, but at the start of the program, at the end of the program, we were in Fort Collins in Colorado, and we did like, because there were 9 of us in the program, and like we got to kind of sit together and think about like water sustainability challenges. We met with like a farmer and like this brewing company and this municipality worker, like water department worker, and just kind of hearing how they all approach like water and water sustainability was super interesting. Yeah, so that was a super fun project. Yeah, if anyone wants to like reach out to me for questions, follow me on Twitter, which is at Dianne Wanja, so DIANNE_WANJA, my first and middle name. Yeah.
And I just like saying this because it'll be on YouTube. Like, I'll put the links below. They can hit
Perfect. Yeah, there you go. That's what it is.
All right, cool. So thank you for being on here.
Yeah,
and thank you for being at Riley. It was so much fun teaching and working.
Had a great time.
All right. And tell your family hello. And I'm gonna try and contact them and get them on this. This is so cool.
Do it. I'll let them know.
Success. All right. Thank you.